Close your eyes for a moment and breathe in deeply. Imagine the weight of every wound you have ever carried. Imagine every word that cut, every act that bruised, every betrayal that left a scar on your heart. Life gives us these moments not to crush us, but to teach us. There is a rhythm to the way the universe moves. There is a wisdom beyond our own understanding. When someone hurts you, it may seem as if you are left alone in the dark. But the truth is, you are never alone. There is a presence watching. There is a power guiding. There is a force that sees everything and remembers everything. Many people spend their lives seeking revenge, plotting their return strike, or wishing bad things on those who have caused pain. But there is another way, a higher way. The one who created you already knows what was done. The one who gave you breath already knows the suffering that was placed upon you. And that power has its own timing. That timing is patient. It is silent, it is precise, it may not be fast, but it is always certain. When someone harms you, you do not need to lower yourself to their level. You do not need to become what you dislike. You do not need to carry their poison inside you. Instead, release it. Place it into the hands of the one who is bigger than your pain. Trust that what you cannot see now is already in motion. Those who hurt you plant seeds in their own soil. They water their own consequences. You may not be there when the harvest comes, but the harvest will come. In every tradition, in every faith, this truth repeats itself. What you give is what you receive. What you send out is what returns. Even the smallest act, even the smallest thought, is recorded in the unseen. This is why you must remain still inside yourself. This is why you must protect your own heart. When you choose not to fight hate with hate, you are not weak. You are not passive. You are aligning yourself with a greater law. You are stepping into a space where the power that created life can act on your behalf. And this power is never unjust. This power does not forget. It does not sleep. It does not lose sight of the balance of things. So when you are hurt, breathe again. Breathe and stand tall. Breathe and remember that nothing is hidden from the one who created the universe. You are not asked to carry the weight of punishment. You are asked to carry the weight of your own growth. You are asked to rise above, to forgive without forgetting the lesson, to trust without needing immediate proof. When life wounds you through the actions of others, the first instinct is often to defend, to strike back, or to prove that you cannot be treated unfairly. This is a human impulse born from pain and self-protection. But in the larger movement of life, there is a wisdom that far exceeds our vision. When you feel wronged, when you feel betrayed, when someone's words or actions cut into your heart, it can feel unbearable to wait for something greater to step in. Yet this is precisely where trust becomes powerful. Trusting the unseen timing of divine justice means believing that what you cannot see now is already unfolding. It means holding back from acting out of anger or desperation because you understand there is a force larger than yourself that sees the truth. This trust is not blind or passive. It is active. It takes courage to remain calm when everything in you is screaming for retaliation. It takes discipline to breathe deeply when your mind wants to race toward revenge. It takes faith to stand still and let the moment pass. And yet, this stillness becomes your power. It is in this space of restraint where the unseen timing of divine justice can do its work. The universe does not miss a detail. The one who created it does not overlook even the smallest act. Every intention, every action, every hidden thought carries its own echo, and eventually the echo returns. When you trust the unseen timing, you step out of the chaos of immediate reaction. You give yourself space to heal, to regain clarity, and to choose a higher path. This is how you break the cycle of pain. Instead of feeding the same energy that harmed you, you starve it by refusing to participate. You place the situation into hands greater than yours, knowing that what needs to be balanced will be balanced. This trust does not mean you accept mistreatment or silence your voice. It means you choose not to destroy your own spirit with bitterness. It means you allow justice to flow in its own way, at its own pace, without contaminating your heart with anger. So much of our suffering comes from impatience. We want to see immediate proof that the person who harmed us has been dealt with. We want instant evidence that life is fair. But the deeper truth is that life moves in seasons, not seconds. Seeds do not grow overnight. The same is true for the seeds of consequence. What someone sows today, they will harvest tomorrow, or the next season, or even years from now. It is not for you to control the timing. It is for you to remain steady, to keep walking, to keep your spirit clean so you can receive the lessons meant for you. Think of the moments in your past when something painful eventually led to a breakthrough. Think of how often the universe rearranged circumstances quietly in ways you could not have predicted. This is how divine timing works. It is often invisible at first, but its results are undeniable. While you are healing, learning, and growing, the one who hurt you is moving through their own path, their own lessons, and their own consequences. By trusting this process, you free yourself from carrying their burden. You stop waiting for their downfall and instead focus on your own rise. This trust builds a strength that is unshakable. It takes you from being a victim to being a witness of the larger balance of life. You begin to see beyond the moment of pain and recognize that everything is part of a greater tapestry. Even the wrongs done to you become woven into your growth, your resilience, and your wisdom. This does not erase the pain, but it transforms it. It gives meaning to your endurance and dignity to your silence. In time, you will see the unfolding of divine justice, sometimes in ways you could never have imagined. You may see the person who harmed you face their own struggles. You may see them change, but you may never see it at all, but you will feel the release within yourself. Trusting the unseen timing is ultimately about protecting your heart. It keeps you from carrying unnecessary anger and allows you to move on with peace. You cannot control what others do, but you can control your alignment with a greater truth. So, when hurt comes your way, remember to step back, breathe, and surrender the outcome to something higher. Let the unseen timing work as it always does. Your strength lies not in striking back, but in standing firm in trust. What is meant to come will come. What is meant to balance will balance. And in that balance, you will find your freedom and your peace. When someone harms you, it may look as if they have escaped without consequence, as if life has allowed them to go unpunished while you are left holding the pain. This is an illusion. Every hurt plants a seed in the life of the one who caused it. Just as a seed planted in the ground cannot help but grow into its own kind, every action a person takes grows into its own outcome. This is not always immediate, nor is it always visible, but it is inevitable. Understanding this truth changes how you experience the pain others cause you. Instead of living with anger or bitterness, you begin to understand that life itself carries a built-in balance, and that balance will come in its own time. When someone wrongs you, they are essentially sowing seeds into the soil of their own life. If they plant kindness, kindness returns. If they plant cruelty, cruelty returns. This is the law of sowing and reaping, an unseen system that the universe honors without fail. You may not be there to witness their harvest, but it will come. And it will arrive not because you demanded it or forced it, but because that is the order of things. This is why it is so important to keep your own soil clean. If you respond to pain with pain, you are planting the same kind of seeds. If you respond to hate with hate, you are planting more hate into your future. But if you respond with patience, wisdom, and faith, you plant strength and freedom for yourself. Knowing that every hurt plants seeds of its own consequence can free you from the trap of revenge. You no longer need to watch over the person who harmed you. You no longer need to calculate how they should be treated. You can let go because life itself is keeping the account. This is not about wishing bad on someone, but about understanding how the universe maintains its balance. It is also a reminder to stay mindful of your own actions, even in moments of pain. Every word you speak and every step you take is a seed too. If you plant forgiveness and self-respect, the future you harvest will reflect that. This perspective also gives you patience. When you realize that nothing is wasted, you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn here?" The moment someone wounds you, they have already begun shaping their own future with that choice. Whether they acknowledge it or not, whether they see it or not, they have placed something into motion. That motion may travel quietly, but it is moving. And while it moves, you are free to focus on your healing, your growth, and your next chapter. Sometimes the seeds of consequence look like internal struggles rather than external events. A person who harms another carries the weight of their own actions, even if they appear fine on the surface. Their inner peace, their relationships, their sense of self, all of these can be touched by what they have done. Life finds ways to mirror back to them what they sent out. It might show up as loss, as lessons, or as the realization of the pain they caused. You do not need to manage this. You only need to step aside and let it unfold. This truth also deepens your compassion. Knowing that someone is sowing seeds of their own consequence can shift your perspective from anger to a kind of sorrow for them. They are tying themselves to a future that will teach them, sometimes harshly, what they refuse to learn gently. This does not excuse their behavior, but it keeps you from being consumed by hatred. It gives you space to walk away, to hold your dignity, and to trust that nothing escapes the greater order. Over time, you will see that your focus on your own seeds, your thoughts, your habits, your energy, creates a stronger and more resilient life. You will experience the freedom of not needing to control outcomes. You will be less interested in how life handles those who hurt you and more interested in how life grows you. And as you grow, the pain you once felt will become part of your wisdom rather than part of your identity. Every hurt is a seed of consequence, and every response you choose is also a seed. The moment you understand this, you stop feeling powerless. You begin to see your role, not as the one waiting for justice, but as the one actively shaping a better future through your own choices. You can release the burden of watching and waiting, because you know balance is inevitable. In this way, you move forward lighter, stronger, and freer. You know that every act has a return. You know that every pain carries a lesson. You know that every wound placed on you plants a seed in the life of the one who caused it. This knowledge gives you peace and allows you to keep walking without bitterness, trusting the greater order of life to handle what you cannot. When people wrong you, the first reaction rising inside is the impulse to fight back, to retaliate, to make sure they feel the weight of what they have done. This is a natural response to pain and injustice. Yet, when you begin to understand how life truly works, you see that carrying the burden of punishment is not your role. Your real task is to rise above pain, to lift yourself beyond the energy that hurt you, and to keep your spirit clear. This is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is choosing not to entangle your soul in the same darkness that harmed you. Carrying the burden of punishment ties you to the one who hurt you. Every thought of revenge, every replay of the pain, every plan to make them pay for what they did, keeps you bound to the very thing you want to escape. When you refuse to carry this burden, you reclaim your freedom. You say, "I am no longer chained to this moment. I am no longer defined by this harm. I choose to rise." And in choosing this, you step into a different current, one that leads toward healing and growth rather than bitterness and decay. It takes courage to rise above pain. It takes self-awareness to say, "This is not mine to handle. This is not my job to punish. But every time you do this, you protect your own heart. You allow space for grace to move, for wisdom to speak, and for life's own justice to unfold. Rising above pain does not mean you deny what happened or pretend it did not matter. It means you acknowledge it fully and then make a conscious decision not to let it shape your future. When you refuse to carry the burden of punishment, you also preserve your dignity. You no longer act from the heat of anger, but from the clarity of self-respect. You send a message to yourself and to the world that you will not be dragged down into lower energies. You create a boundary between what was done to you and who you choose to be. This boundary is the foundation of your strength. It is a silent declaration of your worth. This way of living also opens the door to learning. When you rise above pain, you shift your focus from the person who hurt you to the lesson life is offering you. Perhaps you are being shown where your boundaries need to be stronger. Perhaps you are learning patience, resilience, or self-love. Every hurt has a hidden teaching inside it, and you can only see it clearly when you stop focusing on punishment and start focusing on growth. Think of how a seed must push through the darkness of the soil to reach the sunlight. Rising above pain is similar. You are pushing through darkness, through heavy soil, to reach a clearer and brighter place. The person who hurt you may still be caught in their own shadows, but you do not need to follow them there. You can keep moving upward toward light, toward a higher understanding of yourself and life. This shift also allows you to experience real forgiveness, not as a gift to the one who hurt you, but as a gift to yourself. Forgiveness here does not mean forgetting or excusing. It means releasing the hold that pain and punishment have on you. It means stepping out of the cycle of harm and refusing to carry it forward. When you do this, you are free. You can walk without chains. You can speak without bitterness. You can dream without limits. And because you have chosen to rise, you also create a ripple effect. Others see your strength, your calm, your refusal to be dragged down, and they are inspired to do the same. You become an example of how to live above pain, how to embody dignity even in adversity, how to trust the greater order of life. This is a form of leadership that does not need words. It speaks through your energy, your presence, and your choices. Over time, you will see that rising above pain brings you closer to your true self. You become stronger, wiser, and more grounded. You no longer feel the need to explain or defend yourself. You know who you are. You know what you stand for. You understand that life will take care of what you cannot, and in that understanding you find peace. Your role is not to punish. Your role is to rise. Your role is to heal. Your role is to become more than the pain, to grow beyond the wound, and to embody the freedom that comes from trust. When you do this, you step out of the shadow of those who harmed you and into the light of your own becoming. And in that light, you find strength that no harm can take away. Forgiveness protects your spirit, while divine balance handles the rest. This is a truth that may sound simple, but it is one of the hardest to live. When someone wounds you, they leave more than just a mark on your heart. They leave an energy, a heaviness that can linger for years if you allow it. Forgiveness is the key that lifts this weight from your spirit. It does not mean you approve of what happened. It does not mean you invite the person back into your life or pretend nothing occurred. It means you choose not to let their actions poison your inner world. It means you take your spirit back from the grip of pain. When you hold on to resentment, you create a chain between yourself and the person who harmed you. You may not see it, but it ties you to the same moment again and again. Every time you remember it with bitterness, you relive it. Every time you replay it in your mind, you refresh the wound. Forgiveness severs that chain. It is not a favor to the one who hurt you. It is a rescue for yourself. It gives you back the freedom to feel, to love, to grow without the shadow of the past always following you. While you forgive, you also trust that divine balance is at work. Life is not blind. The one who created life is not careless. Every action carries its own ripple, and those ripples will reach back to the one who sent them out. You are not responsible for making sure someone faces the outcome of what they did. You are responsible only for keeping your own heart clean. This is why forgiveness is paired with trust. You forgive to heal your spirit, and you trust divine balance to handle the rest. Many people think forgiveness makes them weak, but in truth it is one of the strongest acts you can ever do. It takes far more strength to let go of anger than to hold on to it. It takes far more courage to choose peace than to plan revenge. Forgiveness is the act of standing in your own dignity and refusing to be shaped by someone else's harm. It is you saying, "I will not become what hurt me. I will remain myself." That is power. By practicing forgiveness, you also change the energy of your own life. You stop sowing seeds of bitterness and start sowing seeds of compassion, resilience, and wisdom. These seeds grow into future peace, future clarity, and future strength. You also make space for blessings to enter your life. Anger and resentment can fill every corner of your heart, leaving no room for new opportunities or healing relationships. When you forgive, you clear that space, and life responds by filling it with new light. At the same time, trusting divine balance does not mean being passive. It does not mean ignoring boundaries or staying silent about harm. It means you act where you can act, protect yourself where you can protect yourself, and then release what you cannot control. It means you do not live with the illusion that you must oversee every outcome. Divine balance operates beyond your sight and beyond your timing. It may take days, months, or even years, but what is planted will always be harvested. This combination of forgiveness and trust allows you to walk through life lighter. You no longer carry the weight of punishment, nor the weight of constant anger. You keep your energy focused on growth, on healing, on becoming the person you are meant to be. And as you do this, you start to feel a quiet strength rising inside you. You become harder to disturb, harder to shake, because you know where your peace comes from. It comes from a power greater than harm, greater than pain, greater than revenge. In time, you begin to see how this approach shapes your character. You develop patience, inner calm, and clarity. People who once hurt you lose their power over you. Situations that once would have broken you no longer reach you in the same way. You gain a perspective that is wide and steady. You understand that everything has its season and that nothing escapes the order of life. Forgiveness and trust are like two wings. One lifts you out of bitterness, the other carries you into peace. Together, they free your spirit from being trapped by the past. Together, they make you untouchable by negativity. And when you live from this place, you discover a deep confidence that nothing done against you can ultimately stop you. Let this truth settle into your heart. Forgive to heal yourself. Trust divine balance to handle the rest. In doing so, you protect your spirit and allow life to restore what was lost in ways more powerful than you can imagine. Grace is stronger than retaliation and leads to inner freedom. When life places you in situations where people have wronged you, humiliated you, or wounded you in ways you cannot describe, it is natural to feel a rush of anger and the burning desire to strike back. Retaliation seems like the only way to restore your sense of power, but retaliation often traps you in the very energy that harmed you. It keeps you locked in the same vibration of pain, hate, and bitterness. Grace, on the other hand, is the quiet force that lifts you out of that space and into something far greater. Grace does not erase what happened, but it transforms how it lives inside you. It is a choice to rise rather than sink, to heal rather than harm, to release rather than tighten your fists. Grace is not weakness. It is not passivity or submission. Grace is strength under control. It is choosing peace when anger is available, choosing dignity when disrespect tempts you, and choosing silence when words would only deepen the wound. This is power at its highest level. It shows that you are no longer being pulled by the actions of others, but are rooted in something much deeper. Grace allows you to reclaim authority over your own emotional state, rather than handing it to the one who hurt you. When you act with grace instead of retaliation, you give yourself the gift of inner freedom. Freedom from replaying the moment, freedom from bitterness, freedom from plotting ways to even the score. You do not become blind to what happened, but you refuse to let it poison your days. You learn to stand tall and walk forward with a clear heart. In doing so, you also send a powerful message to yourself and to life itself. You will not be reduced by harm, and you will not be defined by anger. Grace has a way of changing the entire atmosphere around you. It softens what is hard, calms what is chaotic, and draws strength from unseen places. It gives you the patience to trust the larger process of life instead of rushing to take matters into your own hands. It allows divine balance to work without interference, because you are no longer trying to play judge, jury, and executioner. This surrender is not about giving up. It is about understanding the limits of your control and the vastness of something greater than you. Retaliation feels satisfying in the moment, but leaves a residue of regret and emptiness. Grace may feel challenging in the moment, but leaves a legacy of strength and dignity. The more you practice grace, the more you begin to see its ripple effects. People sense your composure. They sense your self-control. They sense a depth in you that cannot be shaken by smallness or cruelty. This is how grace elevates you far above the situation, placing you in a space where you no longer even crave revenge, because your spirit has outgrown it. Living in grace also shields you from carrying unnecessary burdens. When you retaliate, you take on the same energy as the harm you received, which can weigh heavily on your mind and body. Grace frees you from that weight. It allows your mind to stay clear, your emotions to heal, and your body to release the tension that revenge creates. This freedom is a quiet kind of joy, one that grows as you practice it. Another hidden strength of grace is that it allows you to transform your pain into wisdom. When you choose not to retaliate, you create the space to reflect and learn. You can see patterns, understand motives, and recognize the lessons life is offering you. You can refine your boundaries, strengthen your character, and develop compassion without letting others take advantage of you. Grace does not mean letting people walk over you. It means standing in your worth without letting their darkness pull you down. As you walk this path, you start to notice how grace aligns you with higher principles. Your patience grows. Your presence deepens. Your life begins to reflect a calm strength that draws opportunities, respect, and healing. You become an example to others of what it means to live above harm, to embody dignity, even when wronged, and to trust that balance and justice will come without your interference. This is how grace becomes not just a response, but a way of living. In time, you will see that grace gives you something retaliation never could: peace. Not the shallow peace of having won an argument or gotten even, but the deep peace of knowing you are unshaken, untangled, and unbound. It is the freedom to live without bitterness and the ability to walk forward without chains. This is the quiet triumph of the soul. Grace is stronger than retaliation because it frees you. It lifts you above the cycle of harm and allows you to stand in your true power. It teaches you to trust the larger order of life and to protect your own spirit at all costs. And in this freedom, you discover a strength, a dignity, and a peace that no act of revenge could ever bring. Nothing done against you is ever hidden from the one who created life. This is a truth that can steady your heart when pain tries to overwhelm you. When someone wrongs you, it often feels as though no one saw it, no one cares, and no one will hold them accountable. You may find yourself lying awake at night replaying the moment, thinking about how unfair it all is. Yet beyond what your eyes can see, there is a higher awareness that misses nothing. Every action, every motive, every hidden thought is already known. This knowing is not like human judgment that can be swayed or deceived. It is perfect, constant, and complete. When you begin to trust that nothing is hidden, you can stop exhausting yourself trying to prove your pain or expose the one who hurt you. You no longer need to spend your energy collecting evidence or replaying the scene to justify your feelings. Instead, you can hand it over to the one who already knows the full story. This trust releases a deep tension inside you. It frees you from the need to be your own defender at all times. It allows you to breathe again and focus on your healing rather than your case. The awareness of a higher witness also protects you from despair. Even when people lie, manipulate, or hide their wrongs, there is a force larger than their deception. This force cannot be fooled, and it cannot be bribed. It sees the pain they caused and also sees the intent behind it. Nothing escapes that vision. And because nothing escapes it, nothing will be left unresolved. This is why you can let go of the desire to control outcomes. You do not have to be both victim and judge. You can allow justice to unfold in its own time, knowing the truth is already fully visible to the one who matters most. Living with this understanding also helps you stay true to your own integrity. When you know there is a higher awareness watching, you become more mindful of your own words, your own choices, and your own energy. You resist the urge to harm in return because you know everything counts. You choose patience and dignity because you know every small act, whether seen by others or not, is noticed by something greater. This keeps your spirit clean and your path clear. It is also a comfort to realize that even your silent tears, your unspoken prayers, and your quiet endurance are seen. The one who created life knows not only what has been done to you, but also how you are handling it. Your strength, your restraint, your efforts to forgive, your decision to grow rather than break. None of it is wasted or ignored. These moments build a record of resilience and faith inside you. They become part of your character, shaping you into someone stronger and deeper than you were before. This awareness shifts the focus from punishment to transformation. Instead of waiting for the one who hurt you to be exposed or punished, you focus on how this experience can elevate you. You ask, how can this pain become a stepping stone? And what can I learn about myself here? This does not mean you excuse the harm. It means you trust the higher order to handle what you cannot and use your energy to grow rather than fight. With time, you may even come to see that being unseen by people but seen by the one who created life is a blessing. People's recognition fades, but divine awareness endures. People's judgments are shallow, but divine awareness sees the whole story. In this realization, you find a confidence that does not depend on approval or validation. You know your truth is safe, your pain is witnessed, and your dignity is protected in a place beyond human reach. Knowing that nothing done against you is hidden also gives you patience for the unfolding of justice. It may not arrive when you want it or in the way you expect, but it will arrive. Sometimes it comes quietly, as life lessons for the one who harmed you. Sometimes it comes as inner restlessness for them. Sometimes it comes as doors closing or opportunities disappearing. You do not have to decide how or when. You only need to keep moving forward, keep healing, and keep trusting. In the end, this understanding gives you a quiet power. You stop living as though everything depends on you. You stop being consumed by anger and start being nourished by faith. You know you are not alone. You know nothing is missed. You know justice has already begun in ways you cannot yet see. This knowledge allows you to walk with dignity, to forgive more easily, and to focus on building a future unchained from the harm of the past. And in that future, you discover peace growing stronger than pain, trust stronger than fear, and a freedom no one can take away. your growth and strength become the ultimate testimony to higher justice. Every time you endure pain without letting it destroy your spirit, every time you rise after being pushed down, every time you choose wisdom over revenge, you are becoming living proof of a greater power at work. The harm done to you is not the end of your story. In many ways, it is the beginning of your transformation. You are not shaped by the cruelty of others, but by the way you respond to it. Each struggle becomes a weight in the gym of your character, building a kind of strength that cannot be learned any other way. When people hurt you, they expect you to shrink, to stay small, to lose your light. When you continue to grow, to smile, to rise, you break their expectation. This is the quiet victory of your soul. You are not just surviving what was done to you, you are turning it into a force for your own becoming. This kind of growth is not loud. It does not need to be posted or performed. It shows itself in your calm, your confidence, and your ability to move forward with grace. It is in the way you no longer flinch at the memory, the way you no longer tremble at their name, the way you no longer carry the weight of what happened. Strength built through pain carries a special kind of dignity. It is not the strength of arrogance or hardness, but the strength of resilience and depth. You begin to develop patience where before there was only frustration. You begin to develop wisdom where before there was only reaction. You begin to develop compassion even for those who do not deserve it. Because you know how much it costs to forgive and how much power it gives you to do so. This is how your growth becomes a silent witness of the higher order at work. Each time you choose growth over revenge, you align yourself with the greater balance of life. You are saying, I trust that what was meant to break me will build me instead. And life responds to that trust by giving you new strength, new opportunities, and new clarity. Your pain becomes a kind of fuel, burning away illusions, fears, and insecurities, leaving behind a truer, purer version of yourself. This is not something anyone can take credit for but you and the unseen hand guiding your life. This journey of growth also shifts how others see you. People who once doubted you begin to notice your resilience. People who once hurt you may see a strength in you they cannot reach. Even those who know nothing of your struggle sense a steadiness in your presence. This is the testimony your life begins to speak without words. It says that higher justice is real, that grace is stronger than harm, and that transformation is more powerful than revenge. As your strength deepens, you begin to walk lighter. You no longer need to prove your worth or your pain. You no longer need to demand recognition or apology. You know what you have survived and what you have built within yourself. You trust that life has recorded it all. You let your growth speak for you. This kind of testimony cannot be faked. It shines from your eyes. It moves through your voice. It lives in the way you carry yourself. This growth also protects you from future harm. Because you have learned through pain, you now see red flags faster, set boundaries stronger, and walk away sooner. You understand your value and you no longer negotiate it. This is how pain becomes wisdom and wisdom becomes power. The same experiences that tried to bury you now become the very reasons you rise higher. The beauty of this transformation is that it does not depend on anyone else. Whether the person who hurt you apologizes or not, whether justice arrives in a way you can see or not, your growth still happens. It is yours, it is real, and it cannot be undone. This is the ultimate testimony of higher justice, that nothing done against you can stop what was planted inside you by the one who created life. In fact, sometimes it accelerates it. The very pressure that was meant to crush you ends up shaping you into something stronger and more radiant. In the end, you become living evidence of a deeper loss, that harm does not have the last word, that grace and resilience rise higher than pain, and that true strength is forged in the places where you were once broken. You become a walking example of transformation, A reminder that there is a higher power moving quietly and powerfully, turning every wound into wisdom and every setback into a step forward. And in this living testimony, you find your deepest freedom and your highest peace. As we reach the end of this journey together, remember that every wound you have endured has not gone unnoticed. Every tear you have shed has been seen, and every act of restraint you have chosen has built something powerful inside you. The way you have risen above pain, trusted divine timing, and allowed grace to lead you is already shaping a future far brighter than the hurt of the past. Hold on to this truth: you are never alone. You are always being guided, and nothing done against you can stop the purpose planted within you. May your heart stay strong, your spirit stay light, and your path stay open to every blessing waiting ahead. Good luck as you continue to walk with courage and dignity. And thank you for letting these words be part of your journey today.